2 minutes, starting with Mr. Lloyd.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'd like to start by offering my thoughts and prayers, and hopefully the committee's for His Majesty the King of Canada, King Charles III, as terrible news about his cancer, and I know our thoughts are with his family, and also to the families in Atlantic Canada, including, I believe, our chair, who are undergoing a massive snowfall right now. So just wanted to share, our committee's thoughts and prayers with those families. I also want to put a motion on notice, Chair. I'm not going to be moving the notice or the motion, but I want to put on notice a motion regarding car thefts. As we know, in the past 8 years, car thefts have exploded in this country, and particularly in the last 3 years, we've seen a massive explosion in the amount of insurance premiums or insurance claims that have been paid out in 2022.
Point of order, Mr. Chair. Point of order, Mr. Chair. I can't understand. I don't know why the Conservative Party wants to file a motion on car theft at the Public Safety Committee when the committee already had a motion about car theft that I filed a few weeks ago, and we are supposed to be studying this topic in a few weeks after the study of Bill C-26. So I'm wondering about the need to file a new motion on this same topic.
Mr. Lloyd does have 2 minutes on the floor. He'd probably be done by now, but it is in order, so I'll have to let Mr. Lloyd proceed.
On the same point of order, I would observe that we just like 2 meetings back had a debate on a car theft motion as well. So it seems excessive and redundant to me.
But it is in order, so Mr. Lloyd, go ahead.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. And seeing as I have a minute left, there's been an explosion in car theft, especially in the last 3 years. And my notice of motion will be calling on the government to take immediate action. Is there another point of order?
Go ahead, Mr. Julian.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'm quite disturbed by this. We have a good faith move to do a final round of questions. I've got a ton of questions for the witnesses. Conservatives are spending their entire opposition day tomorrow on auto theft. And as Madame Michaud has already mentioned, she's already brought a motion through that has been adopted by this committee. So I don't see this as a legitimate motion being brought forward in good faith. I see this as a filibuster tactic, which I do not believe is appropriate, given that we have witnesses who've spent their time and Canadian taxpayers who've spent their resources to have these hearings about legislation that we've just heard is absolutely critical to adopt. So I don't believe it's appropriate. It's redundant to bring forward this motion at this time. And if the member persists in trying to filibuster this committee, I will have to challenge your decision to allow the motion to come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Julian. I don't believe I'm going to take Mr. Lloyd in good faith. He said he's only got 30 seconds left. That's not filibustering. He had 2 minutes. It was his time. Quite frankly, we have spent more time outside of that discussing it. So, Mr. Lloyd, I'm going to hold you to your word, and we'll wrap this up.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'm just disturbed that I've been blocked so many times from bringing forward this common sense motion. This is an immediate problem. I've had my vehicle stolen. It was attempted to be stolen. I stopped a vehicle theft in Alberta over the Christmas break that occurred right in front of my house. And this is an immediate problem. These repeat offenders need to be held accountable. We can have a study on this, but Canadians want action now. We need to get tough on these repeat offenders. This is costing every Canadian family $500 a year in increased insurance premiums. And I'm just appalled that I've been stopped so many times from bringing forward a common sense motion so that we can debate this in the House and take real action on this issue. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Lloyd. We'll go to Ms. O'Connell for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Once again, it's the fake outrage for the Conservatives while the cameras are rolling. Actually, once we get through C-26, auto theft is the very next study that Madame Michaud had brought forward that we would actually be dealing with. And I also find it incredibly ironic that it's my time.
As a point of order, just as every head when he was speaking. Go ahead, Mr. Lloyd.
We have witnesses here. I think it's very important we hear from them, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Ms. O'Connell, the floor is yours.
Thanks.
Still.
I'm actually really pleased that my colleague just did that because it just goes to show the immaturity that the Conservatives are showing. For every day that we have been studying C-26, they haven't asked a single question. Mr. Brock, I overheard him after his filibuster the other day, said, what are we studying here? Is this the first day we're on it? They don't care about security or safety.
Point of order.
Point of order, go ahead, Mr. Brock.
I didn't comment at all at the last meeting. I don't know what Ms. O'Connell was talking about.
Thank you.
No, I overheard.
The record
Thank
will
you.
show.
Sure. Let the record show, Mr. Prosecutor, that I overheard you speaking to Mr. Lloyd about not knowing what was
Point of order,
being
Mr. Chair.
discussed.
And I heard
order,
all
Mr. Mayor.
kinds of backroom chat between Ms. O'Connell, Mr. Biddle, their team. If we
Sure.
want to talk about dirty laundry, let's get it all out on the table.
Thank you. I'm not sure that's a point of order. Go ahead, Mr. O'Connell.
Point of order. I just
Folks,
want to
I'm
know,
going to speak up here for a minute. Everybody's complaining we're not having enough time. We are wasting more time on points of orders.
I understand.
I have the floor
However,
right
points
now.
of order
Mr.
need to be
McKinnon,
done.
Mr. McKinnon, the chair is speaking right now, so
Sorry.
I'll address you in a moment. Thank you. So, folks, if we do want to wrap this up, we've got the time stalled right now. Ms. O'Connell, you have just over a minute left, and we could proceed. But, Mr. McKinnon, you do have a point of order. Go ahead.
I was just wondering which of our four Conservative colleagues are members of this committee and which are substitutes, and whether, I would ask a clarification as whether people who are not members of this committee can move points of order.
Right now, the clerk has informed me that Mr. Lloyd is in this committee today, Mr. Motts is in it, Mr. Brock is in it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So once again, the Conservatives talk tough on crime, and Mr. Brock can raise whatever supposed conversations he claims to hear, because I guarantee it didn't exist, but I heard him talk about not even knowing what committee he was coming into filibuster or what issues it was on. And I think it's been demonstrated very clearly the fact that the Conservatives had time to ask questions and didn't bother. So moving to the witnesses.